Okay, so we're going to continue with antiderivative, which is integrations. Before, what we're going to focus on the new things that we haven't covered is to find the C values. Remember when you do the antiderivative, and at the end you have that plus C, right? That plus C is just to hold a place for like a constant that was missing from the original function that we don't know. So that's what we're going to look at for this note. But before we do that, I just want to do a quick review of what we covered from last class. Okay, we're going to do antiderivative. That means we are going backward. So the rule would be if I have x to the end dx, this is in terms of derivative. So we go backward. The rule would be we will take the exponent and we're going to add 1 and then we're going to divide for that new number and then we do the plus C. So that was the rule that we used. So let's quickly review what we covered because for today the assignment that I'm going to ask you to do in Khan Academy is to review the power rule and then we're going to review trig functions. So you look at this one. Number 7 will be equal to, I'm going to do 12, right? X, 2 plus 1. So the power is always plus 1. So 2 divided by 2 plus 1, and then I do plus C. So this will give you 12 x to the third divide 3 plus C. So 12 divided by 3, that will give you 4 x to the third plus C. So that's how you would do the integration antiderivative. You're going to do the same thing for the next problem, even though you have two terms, 25 x to the fourth and plus 1. Do the same thing, okay? 25 x to the fourth power, I would do plus 1 over 4 plus 1. Plus, now if you look at this one right here, the 1, if a constant, it would just simply turn into 1x. Don't forget the plus C. Okay, so now we can simplify 25 x to the fifth power over 5 plus 1 x plus c. 25 divided by 5 give you 5x to the fifth plus x plus c. So that's what we cover for the last class. So it doesn't matter how many terms are given to you, you're going to do the same. Okay, I'm going to do the last example. Again, you can always go back and review the steps. So I'm going to do the last example. I'm going to clear this. Same thing over here. I'm looking at the first one. 25th x 4 plus 1 divided by 4 plus 1. I will have 15, 2 plus 1, then divide by 2 plus 1. Minus 10x, so this is 1 plus 1. Let me write over here so that I have all the space that I need. So 25 x 4 plus 1, 4 plus 1. 15 x 2 plus 1 over 2 plus 1 minus 10. This is like a 1, so 1 plus 1 over 1 plus 1. Don't forget the c. Don't forget the c, okay? So now we got just going to simplify 25x to the fifth divided by 5 plus 15x to the third divided by 3. That is a minus 10x to the second over 2 plus c. And for the fraction, if we can simplify the fraction, we should. So that gives you 5x to the fifth plus 5x to the third minus 5x squared plus c. So that is the power rule that we learned from last class. I just want to review that with you because you will need it for Khan Academy, the practice that you would do. Okay. Then we ran into trig functions. And the one that we talk about is the antiderivative cosine is sine plus c. Antiderivative of sine is negative cosine plus c. So over here, the coefficient, I'm not going to do anything. The sine, I'm looking here, the sine is negative cosine. So minus cosine, make sure that I do plus c. For the second one, this is the same thing as 3 over 5. Antiderivative of cosine is just sine plus c. And here you have two terms for the third example, which is 1x minus 6. The cosine turn into sine plus c. Okay, so you have to have this memorized, so you should know. Otherwise, have it on a piece of paper so you can use it when you take the test. And this is a new one that I want you to focus. We don't have an assignment for this one, but we will when I see you in class on Friday. Okay, so for this one, it said solve the differential equations. This is second derivative, this is the first derivative, and this is the original function. So this one is tricky a little bit. So I'm going to start from here, going backward and backward and backward. So I'm going to start with this one. The first one, notice there are two prime, that is the double derivative. So what I would do is I'm going to go backward, okay? So I start with the 2 prime, now I'm going to 1. Remember antiderivative, this will turn into 3x. If it's a constant, just a constant, the x will appear, okay? Now in here, they tell you that the second one, f of 2, give you 5. So that tell you x is 2 and the y is 5. So I'm going to plug it in. Don't forget the, whoops, and then it's going to be plus c. All right, so this is what I'm going to plug it in. The f prime is the 5. I replace with 5. Where do I get the 5 from there? 3, and the 2 is the x value, plus c. So 5 equals 6 plus c minus 6 minus 6. So c is negative 1. So now this is what I have. 3x minus 1, which I'm right here. I'm in the second box. Now I want to go backward to the original, which is right here. I'm going to start with here when I no longer have the prime. So again, I'm going to start with the antiderivative. So we know 1 plus 1 over 1 plus 1. If it's just the 1, it's going to turn into 1x, right? So f of x is 3x squared over 2. Don't forget the plus c minus 1x plus c. So 3 over 2 x squared minus 1x plus. So for 3 over 2, I cannot simplify, but it's okay. I'm going to solve for that c. Remember how we do antiderivative and we don't know what the c is? Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. What is that c for? Okay, I'm going to erase this side because I need that space to finish up the problem. Okay, so here is the box that I'm going to use over here. You see it? F of 2. That means x is 2 and the y value is 10. So I'm going to set this equal 10. 3 over 2 x squared minus 1x plus c. But if that is the case, then it's really hard for us to do, but we know the x value is 2, so I'm going to replace that with 2. So 3 over 2, 2 squared minus 1 times 2 plus c. So it's okay if the function looks crazy, but we know the x values, you just have to plug it in. 3 over 2 times 4 minus 2 plus c. So 4 divided by 2, so this would give me 6 minus 2 plus c, 4 plus c, so c is 6. Okay, so now my function, the original function that I started out with is 3 over 2 x squared minus 1x plus 6. So all of that, what are you going to work on is we going backward and we find that c that was missing. That's what missing from last class. So as you notice, there's a lot of steps, But what you do is you're going to start with the very first functions, going backward, plug in the values, solve for C, then plug into the second one, and keep doing that. So this one is tricky, so I'm not going to assign any assignment for this one, but you want to watch it because we will continue with this when we see each other next class. Okay, let's do another example, another one. So I'm going to start with this first. Okay, so I'm going to do antiderivative. Notice I start with 2 prime, so I'm going backward. I'm going to this box right here. Okay, so just a 2 that would turn into 2x plus c. Now I'm going to use this one right here, the one that I just underlined in red. I know the x value is 1, the y value is 4, so I'm going to replace this 4 equal to times 1 plus c. So that's 2 minus 2, c is 2. So this function is f prime 2x plus 2. So that's, remember the c was the one that's missing, and I just plug in the values from here to figure out that c. So now I have that. So the next one you would do is you're going to go backward again. So I'm going to start from here. I'm going to this final steps. So I will do this one. Notice I have 1 prime. Now I'm going to nothing, which is the original function. So 2x 1 plus 1 over 2. This turned into 2x plus c. So this would be, the 2 will in here, 1 plus 1, right? So I have 2x squared over 2 plus 2x plus c. So the 2 will cancel out. So now see this purple, I'm going to use this values to replace negative 2 equal to 2 squared plus 2 times 2 plus c. This is 4 plus 4, so that's 8 plus c. That means the c value is negative 10. So right now my final function, the original function would be, remember this one right here, will be x squared plus 2x minus 10. So that is the original function. And when I'm taking the derivative, if I'm taking it, the 10 disappear, and we're trying to figure that out. Okay, so that's all the note for the date. You have about 3 assignments in Khan Academy, so you have the next couple of days to work on it. You need to do this and know it well, because this will be part of your final exam, so make sure you do that. For this is the one that you just watched, the notes. I'm not going to assign anything yet until I see you for the next class. Okay, if you have any questions, please email me, send me a message, or attend Flip Remote on Thursday at 12:45. I'll see you then.